All right, without any further delay, we're going to get going with this webinar. My name is Dan Telep, and I'd like to thank everybody for attending on this Thursday afternoon. I'm very excited to present the OMS Portal, which I'm sure you all looked at in the email or in the ad on LinkedIn that you may have seen about it. First and foremost, I represent ERP That Works. ERP That Works has for 5 years been an Infor channel partner supporting visual manufacturing in Western Canada. Approximately 6 months ago in January, we partnered up with Essential Software, another Vancouver-based Infor partner, to essentially consolidate operations to become more efficient in sales and such, where the marketing message was essentially the same. The technology was slightly different. In any case, it means that we bring a greater offering to the table in the way of services, but ERP That Works maintains its marketing activities and new ERP sales with visual manufacturing. Essential Software, again, has been an Infor channel partner for some time. They currently support Sightline and Infor Service Management, and we're working together now under a consolidated operation. The software that I'm going to show you today is developed by BGSoftek, a firm based out of Quebec. All of us at every level of this effort have a long history with visual. I think if you put the years together, we represent over 50 years of visual experience, including external ERPs. Gosh, I wouldn't even want to count the years. But we all love visual. What we're going to show you today is not intended to replace visual, but to enhance what we already have. The best way to look at that or consider it is to look at the roadmap that Infor has presented to us. Now, I should give you a little bit about my background. I've used visual for over 20 years. I am currently certified by Infor to implement and support visual ERP, Infor Service Management, Sightline ERP, Mongoose, Ion, their connector, F9, Synoptics, as well as several other products. So I know and I love Infor, but the one thing clearly absent from this visual roadmap, or even this one here that they presented, was somewhat static technology. Any of us that use visual know that the technology and the report writer and such hasn't really changed for a long time. And in the tech section here, we can see that not a lot has happened in that. There's no intent to really pull visual into the cloud, at least not from Infor. The one point you will see up here beyond 2016, so at some point in the future they want to move BTS and Wedge over to a mobile device, but who knows when they're actually going to do that. But what we have to show you today is very real and very now. So that's who we are. What we want to do is present a solution that's first on a web platform, and we can use it on the technology that we're all using today, whether that be a tablet, whether that be an iPhone. All of these applications work, and this is truly a web-built application for mobile browsers. It will intelligently size the grid to the screen that you're on to minimize the scrolling and the clicks that need to happen should you be on a mobile device. So with that, let's take a look at the OMS portal. What we're looking at here on the surface is a series of tiles, and you can think of tiles as little mini apps. Each one is either a folder for more tiles or it's a piece of function or functionality or tool that you can click on. I'm going to jump over to another environment real quick just to show you the tool in action. Just bear with me here as I close the presentation. So I am demoing with Visual 8 today. What I'm showing you right now is actually a hybrid. So the portal is meant to operate out of a browser, but in Visual 8, using the links functionality, we can build this right in to your visual application. So when you're looking at visual, the portal can appear right within and below your menu items. So it's a nice option for those people that are working in an office, that you can have a browser open too, but it's just one more window in the pane. Why not have it right here? So another option, but the purpose of today's session is not to show you another tool inside Visual, but to show you one built out of a browser. So let me minimize that, and we'll jump over here to a real web browser. This is Internet Explorer. However, this works just as well in Safari, Mongoose, Chrome, any of the usual suspects that you would expect to see on a consumer device. So let's walk through the screens and the items. You will see some familiar titles such as sales and inventory, which you do see in Visual. You'll see a few other ones which represent general areas of the software. So again, it's built for browsers. There are over 70 standard tiles that come out of the box with a core application. Plus, there's another 60 pre-built options that can be bought, just like apps similar to an app store. So what we're looking at here is a bunch of apps that are activated, and this one over here with the blue circle is inactive. Now, in a real implementation, we can minimize those, but for the purpose of this, I wanted to show, or we wanted to show, some of the things that are available. Okay, so right within the corporate window, I want to show you the backlog report just as an example of how some of the things that we've built work. So the backlog screen provides a live update on all back orders for all customer orders that are in a release status. This report provides summary sales amounts by customer and by month. Late customer orders still released are displayed with the balance to ship. And up here you can also click on the header to drill down into that particular order, or we can drill down into the given periods here on the side. Now, the really beautiful thing about this, as I mentioned, is that it's somewhat intelligent. So if I was to be working on a browser or on a smaller device, if I collapse this browser, the system is intelligent enough to know that I've moved to a resolution that a grid is no longer practical. So we're now looking at a carded system, okay, where it shows the information just like it did before, but in a way that's easier to move and navigate on a smaller device. I can still do all my totals and numbering and selections and stuff at the top, but in a manner that's somewhat intuitive and is practical for a mobile device. And as I open it back up, the grid opens up and everything is fine. Let me just go back up a level. And let's just take a look at payables inquiry as another example here. So I just want to reset the date range here to something a little more wide. This is a demo database, so I'll just take it from, say, April 1st, 2014. And we're going to get a set of information here. Now, this isn't your typical visual grid. If we wanted to sort this by vendor or other such item, we could take this and just drag it up into my group by column here. And we've now got this group by vendor, so I can now look in here and see what information is required, or what information is coming out of the system. If we wanted to sort by currency or unit, again, we're just dragging the items up here to see that. Now I see it's all Canadian, but just for an example, I could drop that here, and now I can see everything that's Canadian versus Canadian or US if there were two different currencies on purchase orders and such. And again, the grid works. You drop it down, and everything again follows suit right up in here. If I wanted to add buyer, it works just as intuitively right within the mobile application. It's essentially the same application. It just behaves in a way that's practical for the user on the device they're on. Okay, let's go back up to corporate once more. One thing I will mention about the corporate portal, it is our intention, and by the way, this is a product introduction. This is by no means a finished product. We will continue to add features and functions to this in the months going forward. Part of our vision under executive is to also create a Synoptics report repository. So for those of you who use the Infor Visual BI tool that publishes reports either in PDF or HTML, it does so, but then what? Where do you put them? How do you access them practically? This portal allows you to essentially receive those reports in one place in an intuitive browser, as you see with the tiles that we've seen here. So let's take a look under sales. Speaking to that vision under sales, we're going to see some sales tools here that are great, but it really is our intent to build out some CRM functionality as well. One of the things that every CRM system expects in 2016 is mobile access. Sales reps are not in the office too often anymore, especially with manufacturers. So this will, in a future version, allow you to go in and manage some of your CRM activities, quoting, pipeline, etc. But for now, I'm going to show you the customer PO. The customer PO essentially allows you to add documents and other such things from within here, and we can see these increments here by PO date and other such things. I'm not quite sure why it's given me these indentations here, but basically we can see each PO for that particular increment, who the customer is, and what the file is that's under that particular PO, and from here we can access those. So this becomes essentially a virtual docket. So rather than having to build up a pile of paper in a manila folder that gets passed around the office and then the shop floor, and documents get lost, this allows a central place where those documents can be managed and also accessed. When we get to the shop floor application, we'll see where those things can be leveraged. Let's go back to the portal here. I just want to go back here for 1 second and reset one thing on my payables report. I just want to take these items out of the summary. Let's take a look at production real quick. So within production, again, there's a series of tools. I'm not going to dive into each one. I will say that this tool set has been developed, much of it in the context of aerospace. So if you have regulatory or industry requirements that require you to trace either serial or lot numbers from raw material through to finished good and customer shipment, or from customer shipment back to raw material, there's a whole tool and feature set. And if that's something you'd like to see when we talk later, please let us know, and we'll schedule a personal demo to go through the traceability feature. But it's a little bit too deep for this general introduction session. What we will talk about today, though, is shipping and pull documents. This screen here really allows us, gives us an application that adds a practical interface for shipping, including bill of lading and packaging. So those of you who work with standard shipping know that pack lists are all right, but if you start to go to the bill of lading level, or you want to generate, put a few line items into a box and show that we have, 1 and 2 and 3 of 3 packages and produce labels for those, visual is a less than elegant tool. This screen is really meant to extend the functionality of shipping. So whether you're in packaging and you're adding packages to a bill of lading, or packing these different line items into a crate, whether you need to do preparation of paperwork for the pack lists that have been generated, whether we're doing validation of shipping, pending the advanced ship notice. So when you do shipments with this application, it can automatically send a notice to your customer to say that that shipment has happened. So again, removing clicks and adding automation, or view all. So again, just like some of the other screens, we have that same functionality, again, to collapse, to see and manage this from a mobile device, whether that be a tablet, probably not an iPhone. A tablet would be more appropriate for this. But whatever that device is, it's mobile ready. We don't need to build different screens for different devices. So again, a practical application that automates shipping notices, and it really gives us a practical application. go to shop floor. Now, excuse me, as a guy whose background is operations and shop floor control, this module is near and dear to me, and one of the ones that really probably speaks most to me as far as creating a real value out in the shop floor, which is where we have been so deficient with visual for so long. To be very candid, I didn't want to say that before, but now that I have a solution, I can say that out loud. But what we're looking at here is a form and schedule, or essentially an electronic dispatch list. So just for context, a traveler is that document that you print for every work order that lists every operation in the order that it goes through, and it usually travels with the job. The dispatch list looks at it differently. The dispatch list looks by resource and says, okay, what are all the resources that are going to go through this particular here. So if I say I want to look at, I'm working fabricate right now, so I'm just going to quickly do a search for that, and I'm going to work fabricate right now. This is the queue of work at the fabricate resource. I can see the image, so if there's an image attached to this, I can see it right here on the screen. I can see when we want it and when it's actually scheduled, so I can see the difference between the system. There's actually an entire operation priority system built in here that is far more practical than the one that's built out of Visual, where you can have 100 different levels of priority. But from here we can expedite a particular operation if we feel that's necessary. But more importantly, we have labor ticket built in here. So if I collapse this down to the size of a tablet, and I'm looking at the jobs that are in my queue right now, there's two ways of doing labor ticket. There's not silent labor ticket, which I would equate to what you would do in Wedge Barcode or VTA, where you click on the labor ticket for this particular operation, and it's going to ask me some information there about that. There we go. So what am I doing? I'm doing a run. How many did I complete? I did one of them. Did I deviate at all? What are my clock in? What's my clock out time? What are the hours worked? I worked for an hour, and run went okay. That's your traditional, and I'm actually not going to commit that. But that would commit a labor ticket to Visual just like any other labor ticket would. The material would backflush, and any auto-reporting resources that preceded this would also backflush. And that's good. This is a great interface for that. We can do this on a tablet. But what we can also do is turn on silent labor ticket. So if we have a reporting operation and the actual runtime is not so important, so we've estimated an hour, we're just going to report an hour, whether it took 50 minutes or it took an hour and 10 minutes. That's not as relevant to us as just getting the report done. With silent labor ticket on, I'm going to do this right here, and that right there, that created the labor ticket. It used this employee ID. It applied the standard amount of time that the operation called out for, and it reported a ticket that quick. So now that operation went away. I'm looking at a different operation. This is now work order 1042. If that's on my workbench, I can do that. I can click here again with silent labor ticket, and bang, that labor ticket has been created. I'm on to the next one. I've literally taken we have literally taken labor ticket from, what could be 5-10 seconds at the best of time, down to a split second. So there's a huge amount of value there for a lot of the business needs I've seen over the years with Visual. So that's labor ticket reporting from Visual. Again, those appear in Visual manufacturing in real time with all of the same data validation that you would get through VTA or Wedge Barcode. Okay, let's go back to the main menu. And by the way, the one thing that I brushed right over, and is probably just as important, is what I just showed you is what we've all been talking about at professional meetings for years, and that's paperless shop floor. right? From a mobile device, we got what to do next and the priority we need to do it. The documents are attached and they're at our fingertips. Click away. All right. So I shouldn't overlook that. It is really powerful when you start thinking about what can be done there. Now on the inventory side, unfortunately with this particular demo image, none of these applications have been activated. But what this does is exactly like we just seen with labor ticket, except with work order receiving, where if you're going to receive a work order into the default location and you're going to receive all of it, let's not put all the clicks in there. Let's just make it one click to receive work order. Same deal. So for companies that do a high volume of work order transactions, there's a huge amount of value there. Same with receive a PO. You can receive a PO line by line and put it into its standard location rapidly, far more rapidly than you could through the standard interface. If that's something that you're interested in a follow-up demo, we can schedule to show you some of that functionality. Financials, again, is still a work in process. Again, this is a first product introduction. The intent here is to build some special audit tools as well as some of the standard reporting tools that you would expect to see, like a trial balance, and all of those things can get activated here. The one thing that I had in my script, and I meant to say it earlier, so I'll just throw it in right here, is that this is a rapid development platform. So in the time that I've worked with BGSoftek, I've seen a couple of business needs come up, and they've been able to address those needs from concept through development, right through deployment for under $5,000. And I don't mean to set false expectations, but in the world of development and what I've seen delivered, it is very rapid and it's incredibly powerful, and it's a great place to build something if your business needs something very particular, and then you just add it like a little app in here that you can access and leverage. So this is not only a static product that we're going to add some of our default tools to. If you want something developed, we can do it probably cheaper than you can get done anywhere else. So quality, this is again all built around visual quality. So if you own visual quality, we can go into that. The general audience and the customer base that I'm aware of, quality is not a widely used product. So I'm going to save the time today and be respectful of everybody's time and move over quality and go to purchasing the final tile here. And we're just going to click on the purchase order app. And basically, what I would expect to see is not here. Let me just try that again. I'm not quite sure what happened. All right. Well, I'll take a rain check on that one. I'm not quite sure what happened. That's the great thing about demo databases is it's kind of like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you're not quite sure what you're going to get. But over and above that, over here under the hamburger, we also have a knowledge base. A knowledge base is a place where a company can build a knowledge base, whether those are all of your SOPs for visual procedures or IT documents. You can build types, and this has check-in, check-out, revision management. It becomes a central place for everybody to get what they want, and you can also dole out some pretty finite security here, so you're not teaching people out in the shop how to run a trial balance. It is very security sensitive, but it gets the information into the right people's hands. I should also mention that this can also become a repository for any of your EPAC documents. So for those visual or Infor customers that are using EPAC to record and automate the creation of your procedures, whether you're using the Word documents or the PowerPoints or any of the other formats that it produces, you can use this knowledge base as a central repository for staff to access those practically. So many different uses for this. All of the tools, again, enhancing the visual tool set, not intended to replace. So with that said, that was essentially the message for today. We're right at the end of the half hour that I had planned. I will go back to my slide deck here real quick. This is a simple architecture, just explains that what I was showing you today is not black magic. There's essentially an OMS database that collects some business intelligence or summary information that allows it to run quicker rather than just querying that database and essentially thinking on the fly. And the application server that then deploy it out to all the users. If what you've seen today resonated with you and your colleagues, I would encourage you to call me at 604-800-3611 or email me at dan@erpthatworks.com. The other way you can reach me is at my website, erpthatworks.com, and simply talk to the live chat agent who will put you in touch with me as soon as possible. I hope you like what you've seen today. I'm rather excited about the potential of getting visual out into the hands of both the shop, the sales reps, and the executives so we can all use the tools that we expect to use in 2016. Thanks for your time today. I appreciate it. Have a great day.